Hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir, it's visible, sir.
So today we'll discuss about how to set up a MFA, multi-factor authentication. So what is this multi-factor authentication? Nothing but it is going to provide a security to your AWS account. How? Nothing but this MFA can be set up for a root user account also, for a normal user account also. For both, we can able to set up a MFA. So if you're not setting up MFA, what will happen? Very simple. You suppose you are entering username and password. Somebody standing behind you, they know your username password. Then definitely they can able to log into your account, because when you log into the AWS account, it required just username and password only. Anyone can able to log in. If they logged in and they created some resources, okay, they're using the resources. At the end of the month, you got the bill. Who has to pay the bill? The account owner. Whose debit card is there? Your debit card is there. You need to pay the bill, correct? That's the reason how I can able to secure my account. Then using MFA, we can able to secure my account. MFA adds an extra layer of security by requiring users to provide two authentication factors. One is password. By default, you'll be logging with the username password only. Then second one is a temporary code from a mobile device or a hardware token. So nothing but we can able to use some authenticator app from the mobile phone, and we can able to do that. That's the first step. Two steps. Steps to set up a MFA. How to set up that? Go to the IAM dashboard, select a user and click on Manage MFA. Choose a device, example virtual app like Google Authenticator. Then scan the QR code and enter the verification codes. These are the steps. So for example, a user logs with their password and is prompted to enter 6-digit code from their phone, ensuring only they can access the account. So okay, let me show that. Let me search for IAM. I won't enable, just I'll show the options how it looks like, but you guys can enable. Okay, let me go to users. So we can see this is a user which we created last. Click on the username, click on the username. Then we have an option called security credentials there. Click on security credentials, click on security credentials. Look at the options, guys. IAM user, users, then username. Then yes, security credentials are there, right? Under the security credentials, here multi-factor authentication is there, MFA. Okay, so here we have a assign MFA is there. We can click on assign MFA. Device name we can give. So my MFA, like this. Then we have a three options are there: pass key or secret key, authenticator app, hardware TOTP token. Like this, three options which we have. So pass key or security key, nothing but like remember how it works, nothing but in addition to username and password, you'll be use this device to authenticate your account. It asks username password also while login, and also it asks for token also. You need to enter this both, then only you can able to log into the account. So three options are: one is pass key or security key, then second one is another authenticator app, third one is hardware TOP token. Let's say three options which we have. Okay, so authenticate using your fingerprint, face, or screen lock. Create a passkey on this device or use another device like a FIDO2 security key. That's the first option. Then second one, authenticator app. Authenticate using a code generated by an app installed on your mobile device or computer. Then last one, hardware TOP token. Authenticate using a code generated by the hardware TOP token on other hardware devices. Okay, I'll use authenticator app. Select the authenticator app. Click on next. So here, these are the options we need to follow. A virtual MFA device in an application running on your device that can run configure scanning the QR code. First, you need to download the app. That's what I said, right, in the last class. You guys has to go to your mobile Play Store. You need to download the app name called Google Authenticator app. Then you need to install that. After install, in your mobile, you'll get an option. Once you open the app, you'll get a scan QR code. Then you need to scan this QR code. Okay, not my QR code. You need to scan in your in your account. What is the user is there? Right? That QR code you need to scan that. Once you scan that, then you can see some code will be coming up in the screen. First code, second code, like this will get up. So you need to enter that code. First code you need to enter, then second code you need to enter. Post that, we can able to click on add MFA. Once you've done the add MFA, then MFA is activated. When you log in, it will ask for a username and password along with token also. whenever it's asking for a token, you need to open the app, the Google Authenticator app in your mobile, and you need to enter the OTP. Okay. These are the steps which will follow for enabling the MFA. Okay. Next, what type of intro questions they'll ask? We'll see. Why is MFA important in AWS? First thing, it provides additional security by requiring a second authentication factor. What is first authenticator factor then? If MFA is second authentication factor, what is the first authenticator factor then?
Normal password.
Normal password. Username and password, the first authenticator. Then second one is like a MFA. Then can MFA be enforced for the root account? Yes, I said right. Yes, it is highly recommended. Means MFA can be enabled for IAM users also and along with root users also. Clear, guys? Next, what are roles then in IAM? IAM roles are used to grant. Remember, guys, IAM roles are used to grant temporary permissions to users or services without sharing the credentials. Means you don't need to share any credentials. Without sharing the credentials, without requiring any credentials, we can able to grant the permissions. That is called as a roles. Example, an EC2 instance needs to be read files from S3 bucket. Instead of embedding credentials, assign it to a role with S3 read permissions to the instance. Like nothing but EC2 is one service, S3 is another service. EC2 and S3 you want to interact with each other with a secure tunnel, secure method, that is called as a role. Interview question wise, if you think about what is the difference between an IAM user and role, they'll ask in the interview. Remember, IAM users have permanent credentials, whereas roles provide temporary credentials. That's a very important point. Then, how do you attach a role to an EC2 instance? By launching or by modifying the instance IAM role. Like we will get an option when you're creating a server in AWS, you will get an option to launch the, attach the role. Okay, this we'll discuss in upcoming class how to do that. Look at guys, diagram. Account A, account B, account C. Three accounts are there. Look at in account A, user is Alice is there. In account B, Bob, and account C, Charlie. Like this, three different users are there. Now they want to interact with each other. Then you can see account A, they have an option called, in account A, these two guys, account B and account C guys, they want to log into account A and they want to access the things. In such use case also, we're gonna use IAM roles. One account, another account you want to interact with, there also we're gonna use roles. Then what is groups then? Groups allows you to manage multiple users by assigning common permissions. What is group? Group is a collection of IAM users where all the users will have the same permissions. Group is nothing but group is a collection of IAM users where all the users will have the same permissions. Example, you create a group called developers with the permissions to access EC2 and S3. All developer users inherit these permissions. Question is, if you think about, can a user belong to a multiple IAM groups? Yes, nothing but one user can be belongs to a multiple IAM groups. How many? Nothing but, remember guys, 10 groups. One user can be a member of maximum 10 groups. Then what happens if a group is deleted? Group permissions are removed, but the users remain active. Nothing but, assume that you're working for a company called ABC. Okay, so your team is DevOps. Okay, so in case group DevOps is removed from your company, then whether you also removed from the company? Just they removed the group, that's it. They didn't remove you. You are there in the company. They'll map you to a different group. Similar way here as well. Group deleted means group permissions will delete, but it won't delete you. Okay. That's about the groups. Like this. Developers, security, admins, like this. We can able to create some groups and we can able to add the users. Like a Susan, Dave, Bob, like this, we can create multiple users and we can able to grant the permissions. Then delegation of permissions for the users. You can delegate permissions to users using policies, predefined or custom. Example, you create a policy that allows a user to list out all the S3 buckets but restricts them from deleting the objects. Such a case, we required a policies. What is the default permission for a IAM user? Deny everything. By default, nothing will be there. Everything is denied only. How do you assign a policy to a user? Attach the policy in the IAM dashboard. If you go to IAM dashboard, you'll get an option to attach the policy. Okay. In case I want to create a custom policy, how do I create? Like this. Custom policies are JSON documents that define the permissions. A custom policy to allow the access to an S3 bucket, like this will reflect. Effect allow, action S3 list bucket, S3, then example bucket. If I give that, this will going to create and it will going to allow the permissions in the restricted manner. Okay, so then what are the key components of IAM policy? One is effect, action, resources, and condition. If you see this diagram, effect, action, resources, statement, versions like this, right? Similar way, effect, action, resource, and condition. What happens if multiple policies conflict? The most restrictive policy will apply. Nothing but if suppose if you have attached 10 policies, then which policy will work? Most restrictive permission, which one is there, right? That will only will work. Okay, like this. Identities, permissions, like this will have. Users, groups, roles, credentials. This everybody we can grant a permissions. These are the policies or the statements. Okay. Account settings allow you to configure organization-wide rules for security and compliance. You enforce password policies like minimum length, expiration, routing requiring uppercase letters. Like this, we can able to set up a password policy. Okay. How do you set a password policy for users? Use the account settings page in IAM. Can you prevent a root user access without MFA? By yes, enabling mandatory MFA. Okay. We can able to provide. Okay. Let me show the practical for this right now. So first thing, let me go through you. Let me create some groups now. First, go to groups. We have already some groups are there. I'll create some more groups. You have an option called a create group is there, right side. Can you guys able to see that? This is the theory about the group. Here, create group is there. Let me create the group. I'll give the group name is developers. Okay, I won't add any user right now. Later I'll add it. Permission I need to give. I won't give any permission. I'll first explain the permission. Later I'll give. Just create group. Group is created. One group developers. One group I'll create with the testers. Similarly, one more group I'll create with admins. One more group I'll create with the name admins. Okay, 3 groups are created. Look at guys. Creation time you can see. Now is there. 3 groups I created. Okay, when I click on any one of the group name, you can see this is a group name. When did we create it? The timestamp will be there, and very important word ARN. Remember, very important word is ARN. What is ARN? ARN nothing but Amazon RESOURC resource name. Amazon resource name. That is the meaning of ARN. So how ARN looks like? ARN colon AWS account colon service which I am accessing IAM colon. This is the account number colon. What I am trying to access in the IAM group I am accessing group / group name. Like this, your ARN will generate for each and every group, each and every user, each and every policy, each and every role. This ARN will be generated. What will change in this now? So here, if you guys look at what will the things will gonna change here means. So the first thing, in the place of group, if it's a user means user will change. Policy means policy will come. Role means role will come. Like this, the things will change here. Okay. So then users, we didn't add any users. And IAM is an entity that you can create in AWS to represent a person or the application that uses to interact with the AWS. Permissions also I didn't given. Then last access also nothing will be there. Okay. So first what we'll do means I'll create 2 more users. One user John I created. 2 more users I create. Let me take an example. What users I can create? What is there in this example? Susan, Dev, and Bob. Susan, Dev, and Bob. Susan, create IAM user, custom password. I won't change the password. I'll leave it as it is. This one. Okay. Next. I'm not adding any permissions. I'll just create the users. Return to user list. Continue. Then Sohan is done. What is the next user? Dev. DAV, Dev. Dev to create user. In case if you guys any questions, you can stop me and ask me. Okay. I'm unchecking. I'm not setting up the password. That's the reason I'm ignoring this option. Let's click on next. Create user. Return to user list. Continue. Then Dev also done. Last one Bob. Create user. Bob Bob. User. Create custom password. Here also we have option to create a group. Here also we can create a group. Okay, but I'm not creating. I'll just create a users first. Okay, so now I created the users. Let me here I can click on Bob, Dev, Susan. These are the 3 users I created. Now I want to add these users to the group, right? Go to user groups. So let me open the group name developers first. Then here add users are there. Can you guys see that? Click on add users. I'll add Bob as a developer. Add user. Similar way. Tester group. Dev I'll add. Dev, what is the Dev? Dev is a user which belongs to tester. Then one more guy is the last guy. Admin group. Admin group I'll open. Add user. What is the last guy name? Susana. Susan.
I think Bob, no, sir. Bob or Susan?
Bob added already. Dev
Okay,
also.
Susan. Correct. Susan. Correct.
So okay. Now all the users added. All 3 users added now to the group. There are individually group belongs to one group. Look at here. Admin 1 user, then developer 1 user, testers 1 user. Like this, all groups 1 user is there. But permissions not defined. Correct? We didn't define any permissions. That's the reason it's getting permissions not defined. The warning symbol we're getting. Let's move on to the permissions then. First thing. What is permissions means? Here the policies are called as a permissions. Policies are called as a permission. What is policy? Policy is an object in AWS that define the permissions. Remember guys, policy, the meaning of policy nothing but policy defines the permissions. Policy is an object that defines the permissions. Okay, this all the permissions are there already. How many permissions are there? 1320 permissions are there in my account. Okay, these permissions are common permissions. Types of permissions, if I talk about, one is AWS manager permission. Types of policies, PLCIES policies, if I think about, first one is AWS managed. AWS managed job function. Then we have a last one, customer manager policy also there. Like this, 3 types of permission: AWS managed job function, and customer managed. So remember guys, AWS managed policy is nothing but AWS created those policies, not the human beings. Who created these policies? AWS created the policies. Okay, so then that's the reason this symbol you can see. This AWS logo is there means AWS created policies. Then like this is there means customer created policies. We created some policies. That's the reason like this is reflecting. Okay, like this is reflecting means we created this policy. Okay. So like this is there means this is AWS manager policy. Now we understood what is AWS manager, what is customer manager. Customer manager means customer created the policy for restriction, and AWS manager means AWS by default created the policies as per the requirement of the user. Okay, those are 2 types of policies. Now what I'll do means, so first we'll take example of AWS manager policy. AWS already created some policies, right? We'll take those policies to attach it. So for example, we read out here in the theory, we read out the theory, what they said in the policies. We need to grant some policies. To create a policy that allows the users to list S3 buckets but restricts from deleting the objects. Okay, we'll see that later. Identities, policies, or this one. Somewhere we have read it here. Create a group called developers with permission to access EC2 and S3. All developers users inherit these permissions. Okay. Let me grant the permissions. So here I'll go. I'll search for EC2. Can you guys see here? Amazon EC2 full access. Amazon EC2 read only access. Amazon EC2 role for data. If I expand this, Amazon EC2 container service role for SSM, CloudWatch actions EC2. Like this, plenty things will come. First, I'll give read only access. Amazon EC2 read only access. I'll select actions. Remember, guys, two permissions by default will be there: full access, read only access. Any service you can go in AWS. Each and every service will have a read access and along with full access. Full access means everything will work for that particular service. Read only means only they can read the data, they cannot modify anything. Okay, that's the read only access. Attach. Whom to attach? We need to attach the group, right? I select the group or users, anybody we can attach. I'll select for group, developers group. Developers having only read access. Next, S3RL search. S3R. S3 means buckets. Okay, read only access. I'll give it to another group. What is that group? Admins we did. Then developers we did. Testers. Testing group is not reflecting here. And next window. Testers. Where is the testers? Here. Then admins I need to give something, right? Admins I'll give EC2 F means full access I'll give. Admin means generally more permissions will be there, right? Admins attach policy. Similar way, S3F I'll give full access. Full access are given to admins, read only access are given to other groups. Okay. Now admin group having two permissions. Okay, let's go back here. Now see, if I refresh, no warning symbol for our group. Admin group also no warning symbol. Testers also no warning symbol. Developer also no warning symbol. Correct. Now let me go to admin group. This is the user is there. Permissions, can you guys see? Two permissions are there. In case you want to remove any of the permission at any time, then simply you can select this option. Can you guys see remove option here? If you click on remove, then the permission will be removed up like this. In case you want to add any permission to the group, add permissions, attach policies. Again, we'll come to the same screen. So for example, I want to give CloudWatch permissions. Like this, you can select multiple. Also, you can select like this. Okay, how many permissions you can add? Maximum 10 we can add. Okay, like this I can select and I can attach. See, permissions are attached here. Like this we can able to see. You can attach up to 10 manager policies. Okay, that's about the user groups. Any questions, guys, about the user groups? You suppose assume that one more thing. In case in the developers, Bob is the user is there. Okay, Bob user left the organization. Then we can remove the user from the group. How? Just go to groups, users, select the user, remove. Then you add a new person, right? You add that user, add users. Maybe dev is a new guy, add the dev guy to here. Like this, we can able to remove the users and we can add the users. Then users, if I talk about, let me take the user called Bob. This is the ARN of the Bob. When console access enabled MFA without MFA, MFA is not enabled. Okay, created December 6th. Console sign in, never, I didn't logged in. Permissions, there are no permissions. Okay, if I want, I can set the permissions. Okay, add permissions, attach, add permissions. This is only for particular user I'm attaching. Okay, remember. So here, add user to the group, copy permissions, attach policy. Attach policy, I can go EC2 read. I want means I can select the EC2 read permission. I can able to add the user, add permissions. For this particular user, I added the permission like this. Permissions are defined by policies attached to the directly over the group or through the normal methods. Both the ways it will reflect. Then, if this particular user belongs to which group, it will reflect. A user group is a collection of 10 groups at a time. This is also remember user group membership. Then, if at all I want to add any this user to any group means add group. I can select maybe CLI migration group. I just I'm adding, added. Tags, additional information about the user. If suppose anything you want to add means additional information, we can add like this. Tag or key value pairs, we can able to add them. Then security credentials are very important. Remember, this is the sign-in link for user to log in. Console password when the last password was updated, then whether the user logged in or not. Last console password sign in, never. So remember guys, admin is the user, root user created the users. Root user only create these users, correct? Root user created these users and given the permissions. So now, in case this users forgetted the password, then if this users forgetted the password, how we can able to set reset the password? Who will reset the password?
Admin has to reset the password.
Admin has to reset the password. That means you need to reach out to admin for resetting the password. You are the admin, assume that. Then how do you reset the password for this user? Similar way. Users, you need to click on the username Bob. You will come to security credentials. Main is console access is there, right? Click on this here. Disable console access, reset password. Go to reset password, custom password. Here you can give the password. Then user must create a password, revoke active sessions, then click on reset password. Okay, if you click on reset password, password will be reset and admin will share the new password with you guys. Okay, that's the password reset option. Then multi-factor authentication, how to enable, I said right already. From here I can able to enable the MFA, multi-factor authentication I can enable. In case, and also I'm discussing with you guys, right? But this is the MFA one. This is the access keys one. Access keys also I'll show that. So remember, AWS will have two methods, console sign in and along with CLI sign in, correct? Users can log into AWS management console with the GUI. Another one is using CLI, command interface. In case users wants to log into CLI, what is required? If user wants to log in command console means username, password, MFA code is required. If suppose CLI wants to log in means access key, secret access key is required. Remember, access key, secret access key is required. Okay, so how to generate that? Create access key, secret access keys here. We can use this option to create that. Okay, but I won't show this option now. While doing S3, we'll show that option. Okay. Next, SSH public keys for AWS code commit. This is the advanced concept that we won't cover up here. That we'll see it later. That's about the users. So right now we discussed about user groups also clear, users also clear. Any questions on this both?
Sir, I do have a question on CLI mode, the command line mode. I think day before yesterday you shown about that command line CLI mode on AWS console management itself. It's available over there itself.
There also
is that similar to what you are talking right now for individual user?
No, that is different. This is different. That is for root user. This is for normal user. I spoke about this one last class, correct?
Yeah.
Look at Cloud Shell. That is different. You have a command prompt will be there in your local laptop, correct? Windows laptop. CMD.
Yes.
CMD we can log in AWS console. Okay, AWS. How to log in that? I'll show it in the next class.
Okay, done. Got it.
Rules, we'll see it later. First, we'll see policies. Rules we'll do later. First, we'll see the policy. So, policy already existing policies we given. Right now, I'm gonna show how to create the new policy. Remember, guys, two ways we can create a policy. One is using JSON editor. Another one using Visual Editor. When I click on create policy, policy can be created two methods: Visual Editor. Another one is JSON Editor. Look at Visual JSON. Visual Editor along with one is JSON Editor. So either the one can be used to set up the policy. Okay. Let me show that first. I have to create a policy using Visual. Then I'll go for JSON. Okay. Visual Editor I mean. So select a service. Which service you want to grant the permission. Okay. So I want to grant it for IAM. Let me select IAM. Under the IAM, what permissions you want to grant? All permissions if you want means you can select this all. It's kind of a IAM full access. Particular ones we want means like this. I'll just select list and I'll select read. List and read both I selected. Then tagging also I select both. Then permission management also select. I left it over only, right 66 only, I left it over. I didn't select anything. Then here, all the permissions. Then here, conditions are there. Use MFA authenticated, then requested from IP. Okay, these are two options which you have. User is MFA authenticated, nothing but. So whenever user wants to access this particular policy, they have to use MFA. Then requested from IP, nothing but kind of a VPN. In the company, every VPN has some IP address. They'll whitelist the IP. If the person connected to VPN, then only they can able to access this policy. If the person is not connected from VPN, then they cannot able to access this policy like that. So I'm not selecting this option and I'm just proceeding next. So here policy name I need to give. I'll just give IAM custom policy visual editor. VE I just given. Okay. Same thing I'll copy paste it here. Then create policy. Policy created. Now how to attach this policy? I'll just take the name, select the policy, actions, attach. Whom you want to attach? User or group? I want to attach to user, Bob, group. Okay. Like this particular members you can select. Then click on attach policy. Now policy is created and attached also. This is via using visual editor. Next, JSON editor, how to create the policy? Here only option is there. Okay, we'll saw the example here, right? In the theoretical wise, we are talking about the policy. Example policy. Look at it here, guys. This is the JSON policy. Okay, you want to allow the permission S3 list bucket, then example bucket. So let me write it here only, that one, how it looks like. Effect allow. What we need to allow? I will search for S3 bucket. I want to allow for S3 bucket, correct? Under the S3 bucket, all actions or sub actions only. List my buckets. List are my buckets. Only I selected this permission. In list bucket also I select. Then other than that, what else is there? That will be fine. Only two permissions is selected. Next, here, add source is there. Add resource. Select this option. Source all the bucket. Bucket name is there. Add resource. Bucket name I'll give star. All the buckets. Add resource. Then at last, I'm done with the things. Then simple, look at this is your code. This is your ready-made code. You don't need to write it. You need to select it. That's it. If you select an option, you will get the code. Okay. Let me click on next. Policy name S3 custom JSON editor. Like this, we can able to create the policy. In the company, they'll give us like what policy you need to create, what permissions you want to allocate in that, they'll going to give us. Okay, based on that only you need to create. Okay, here I'm creating randomly, but in the company they'll taught us what we need to create. Okay, developers group I'll add, John I'll add, then what else? Dev I'll add. So like this, I touch the policy. Now what permissions will work for these guys? Restricted permission. What is the limited permission which we have, right? That permission only it will work for that guy. That is about the policies. Hope you guys clear on the policies wise. Any questions or confusions?
So whatever the policies you just now created, and you also mentioned that those policies will be handed over by the company, or might be the managers. Is it managers, or could be architect? Could be.
We need to create that. We need to create that. Okay. They'll ask us to create us only. But so they'll going to inform us what are the things we need to add. For example, while creating, I added create list bucket policy. Look at here. Let me select for IAM. IAM I chosen. Okay. In the IAM, what specific permissions you want to grant? Like generally, instead of granting everything, company only think about restrict everything, only grant what we need.
Correct. Exactly. Got it. Yes.
So, for example, let me show that list groups. That means if I add this permission, what is the option we'll get for a user?
You only list the groups.
Groups. Okay. Similar way. List MFA devices. List policies. List roles. Similar way, list users somewhere will be there. List users. If like this 4 permissions is selected. This 4 permissions only it will work for that user.
Okay, sir. Got it. Got it. Rest of them, they won't.
Rest of them, they won't. Nothing will get up for them.
Okay, sir. Okay, got it, got it.
Then for whom, in the down you need to mention that for whom add a resource is there. Here you need to specify add. Is it for all the resources of the user? User means it will ask ARN. So ARN, if I give star nothing but everyone. Placeholder is a star I'll give. Like this. Then I can click on next. I can say take this like this. Then I can click on create the policy. Okay, like this we can able to create the policy. One more
So
policy.
no need to remember the code, no, sir.
Which one? A name.
The
Name.
code, sir. You just mentioned those code, no code.
Ah,
While clicking S3 bucket and other things, code got generated. No, JSON code. I mean to say.
Let me show that
Yeah.
one more example. Okay, I want to grant a permission. I want to create a role. Next one. Okay, for creating a role, I required some permission. That is STS policy is required. Okay, can you see this STS is here? STS.
Yes.
Under the STS, I want full permission. Then I'll check this option. Upon I check this box, what is happen? See, STS colon star is came here. Okay, whom you want to grant this permission? Add. I can select all resources. I'll select star. It came automatically. Correct. Add resource. Now look at the code. This is outer line code. You only need to remember. So what will change? These three elements only will change. Not even these three. This is common. Effect, action, resource. Three only will change. Effect, action, resource. Three only will change. Effect, allow or deny. I want to deny that. DENY. That's it. I want to allow. A capital allow. That's it. Okay. STS full access. Like this, we can able to create the policies. Any questions on the policy side?
What is STS, sir?
Secure token service. Like we discussed, what is the difference between role and IAM user, right? IAM user have a secured credentials for long-term credentials. Role will have a short-term credentials. Short-term credentials itself STS, secure token service.
Okay, sir. Okay.
What is the use of that? I'll explain in the next class. Roles
Okay,
and next class, because it will be overloaded. Today we discussed many things already. Okay.
Yes.
So user groups is clear, users clear, policy is clear. Let's move on to next one, account settings. Okay. I'll show the next one is account settings. Before that, let me teach the
AWS managed job function means.
Where is that?
AWS managed and job function in policies.
In policies. This one we're talking about, right? Job function. Okay. Ahmad, let me explain in that way. So, for example, any company you can go, some standard roles will be there, correct? Developer is always developer will be there. Always network admin will be there, correct? Then always database administrator will be there. Like this, some of the roles already there. For their respective names, AWS already created some of the policies for them. Let me show that. I'll click on this type. I need to take that above. Okay, can you see here? By default, administrator access will be there. It is a manager function. Power user access is there, manager function. What is power user access? Nothing but look at the sequence. Administrator means everything will work. Administrator is very equivalent to root user. Remember, guys, administrator access is very equivalent to root user. Then what is power user access? Power user access also very equivalent to administrator access, but only one thing is missing. What is missing means IAM permissions are not getting up in the power user access. Means you cannot create any user, you cannot delete any user. Even read-only access is also not there for IAM. Other than that, everything will work. Then what is this read-only access? This read-only access means it's equivalent to administrator, but only read. You cannot create any user, you cannot create any server, you cannot create any S3 bucket. That's the read-only. Security audit, this is one of the role. View only access, another permission. Support user, administrator, database administrator. These are job function related permissions. Those are called as a manager job functions. Clear?
Sir, my question is, in this category, where this sudo-s will fit?
Administrator
Sudo-s
access.
file.
First one.
Admission. Okay, administrator. Okay. Fine, sir. Fine.
Next, I'll go to account settings. Last one. I mean, in this one, let me explain what is account settings. Account settings allow you to configure organization-wide rules for security and compliance. You enforce password policies like minimum length, expiration, remain requiring uppercase letters like this. How do you set the password policy for users? Use the account settings and page in the IAM. Can you prevent root user access without MFA? Yes, enabling mandatory MFA. Okay, let me show that option. Can you guys see that here? Password policy is there. This account has the following password policy. Password minimum length is 8 characters will be there. Uppercase, lowercase, special case numbers will be there. I want to edit this. So here I can edit that. Custom. My password policy should go to 10 characters. Set 10 characters. Require uppercase, lowercase, special character, number. Then turn password expiration. Every 90 days your password should expire. Password expiration require administrator reset. Allow password to change their own user's password. Prevent password last 5 passwords. Like this, we can able to add the permissions. Nothing but look at this option. Last option. Last time you changed the password. Same password you cannot give this third time. Why? System will remember your password. That's the reason you cannot give the same password next time. You need to change at least one character.
Okay.
Correct. Like that. Like this, we can set up that. But generally, the general settings will be looked at. Needs to be password length will be above 6 characters, below 128 characters only there. Okay. This is a password length. But I won't change it. I'll just cancel this. It's already set up. This is enough. Uppercase, lowercase, numbers, non-alphanumeric characters. So that those are enough. And so Raghvendra, you were asking about STS, correct? This is the STS, Secure Token Service.
Correct. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, I'll explain the next class that in detail.
Okay, sir. Okay, fine.
Okay, that's about the account settings. Then we left out with the roles and identity providers and role access management. That we'll see in the next class.
Done, sir. Done.
Okay, those are little bit hands-on required. That we'll do it in the next class. That one. Okay. Okay. Any questions now?
Sir, from my end, still my account is not yet enabled. I will. What I will do is that before Monday, Monday will have next class. So before Monday, I will try with that same this one account, or I will go ahead with the new account, sir.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would be they not at